Brittany, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Brittany Bindrim, and I'm a new solo artist as well as a singer for Scintilla.
And are they still going?
Yes, surprisingly, after 20 years, we're still going.
No.
So we're still going. Not very active right now, but we are playing Dark Force Fest in New Jersey coming up next month. But yeah, so we're still going.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, that's
Yeah.
no, I don't mean this in any funny way, but you don't look old enough to have been going 20 years.
Well, that's very nice of you. Yeah. Yeah, we started in '03. So I was just getting into college. So I was like a freshman in college and I met all the guys and we formed the band then. So, yep, 20 years.
So what was it like then? What made the decision for you to say, right, I'm going to do a solo album as well, something solo?
Yeah, right. So I was just, you know what, Scintilla was kind of on a little bit of a hiatus. Weren't really working on new music and we weren't playing shows. And I was getting more into music programming and just kind of experimenting like on my own. So I was writing some songs and just trying things out. And I didn't really have a goal in mind at first. I was kind of thinking like, maybe these songs would turn into Scintilla songs, maybe not. But as I started to develop the songs a little bit more, it just became apparent that they were kind of like their own thing. And that's how the solo project was born. So yeah, just kind of came out of the ether pretty organically.
So as regards this, is it Velella Velella or Velella?
Yeah, Velella Velella.
Yeah, you say that so well.
Mm-hmm.
So have you done everything on that? Have you done the songwriting, the music, everything?
Yes. So I wrote all the songs in my home studio and I recorded them in Los Angeles at Secret Hand Studios with Matt McJunkins. So he produced the record, but I wrote everything and performed everything, composed everything. Yeah.
That's an achievement.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a challenge, but I just felt like it felt like the right time, and I felt like I was kind of technically ready to do something like this. So it just felt like the right time.
It's very, very good.
Oh, thank you.
Some of the tracks on there that kind of stand out. Track 1, Obelisk. I mean, the start of that is on an epic scale, the start to that track, and I could almost imagine like this dark column arising from the ground. You just done this intro that is so big and grand. It really is. I mean,
thanks.
It's a soundtrack to something, isn't it? As well, it's just could be if it isn't.
Oh, thank you. And it's funny you mentioned the obelisk coming from the ground. So I did a music video for that track, and I worked with Simona Norik from Germany, and she does like all these really cool landscapes, and like she's just an incredible animator. And that's we talked about that too. Like she kind of had this vision for like this, dystopian like land where the humanity is all wiped out, and then there's still like these obelisks still standing, and so that's kind of exactly you envisioned what we had.
The music did exactly what it was supposed to do, so obviously it worked, whatever it was.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you've got One Fixed Point. It's another great track. I
thanks.
love that one as well. And that one, again, it starts off so incredibly powerful, and then you've got this incredible melody through it with your vocals, and it all comes together then perfectly. And your vocals transform the songs completely. They really do. You've got incredible.
Oh, thanks.
So is there a story behind the whole album, or is it just songs put together?
Yeah, you know what? I will say that like a lot of these songs, they did come really, really like organically and just uh kind of came as, you know, like a stream of consciousness a lot of times. But I guess if you were to kind of boil, you know, like the general theme of the album down, it's kind of like, you know, self-discovery and also trying to maybe understand human nature, kind of both of those two things simultaneously. So yeah, so kind of maybe exploring themes of like socio-political climates and, you know, while reflecting on yourself, but trying to understand humans in general. Yeah.
So, what were your influences before in music? What bands influenced you?
Oh man, there's a lot of bands that influenced me. But yeah, like where do I start? I mean, like when I was a kid, like probably the first influence when I was like a little kid was Prince. Like I was in love with Prince, like when I was a little kid, like a toddler. And you know, I loved grunge music, so I loved Soundgarden was a big influence on me. And then I remember hearing Skinny Puppy for the first time. And I was like, what is this? It was like nothing I've ever heard before. So that kind of opened the floodgates of, you know, like industrial music, experimental music for me. But yeah, vocally, Björk is one of my favorites too. You know, Diamante Glass. Yeah, there's just so many to mention, but those were some of my biggest influences, I would say.
The reason I asked was I could hear almost Kraftwerk Tour de France.
Oh yeah, I love Kraftwerk too. Yeah,
that's kind of there in one of your. But this one threw me because I hadn't heard this style of music for a long time. But in your album, I don't know if you've ever even heard of the guy. He was called, or he still is called, Bill Nelson.
I haven't heard of him.
No. He had a band called Red Noise originally.
Sounding familiar, but I can't say that I recognize.
He had an album out in 1982 called The Love That Whirls. And he was...
Okay, let me write that down.
Yeah, it's similar to... There's something about your music and his music. And he was doing everything himself and composing, and he did things like Beauty and the Beast, but he did it his way, the musical to it. And have you heard this album? I'm sure you probably understand what I'm talking about. I mean, it's not...
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
You've got a female voice, he's got a male voice, and there are big differences. But there's something about the way you've made your album that throws back to how he made an album. And it really is there, but you've got to know him personally, kind of thing, as in his music. But that kind of went, whoa.
Oh, that's cool. I wonder if there's similarities in like just how things were developed or something too, you know? I'll have to go listen to that.
Yeah, but yours is so kind of on this always starting with this epic music and things like that. He did similar. So there is a lot there in common. I mean, yes, they're obviously different, but there is something there. And that kind of woke me up properly and thought, I heard something kind of like this, but on a similar style, and goes back to there. But that threw me because I thought, no, she's definitely not old enough to know this. I'm sure she's not.
Well,
yeah, but
great. I can't wait to listen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many albums he's got. He must have about 40 albums. So he's...
Oh, yeah. Okay. Wow. I've been living under a rock.
Yeah, he's got a lot. He's got a lot of albums. But yeah.
It's a blind spot for me.
Yeah, but I mean, he's one of those ones that you've either heard it or you haven't. You know, I suppose you could say he was a Marmite thing. I don't know if you get Marmite in America.
No.
We say it's like Marmite. You love or hate it.
Oh, okay, cool.
The Australians call it Vegemite.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now I know.
Yeah.
Wait. So Marmite. All right. Vegemite.
Yeah. We call it Marmite.
Okay.
Vegemite. Yeah. And it's love or hate.
Never had Vegemite.
No? You've
never have.
I suppose it's a vegetarian Bovril, if you've heard of Bovril.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. It's strange, isn't it? We all speak the same language. We've all got different things around.
Yep.
But no. So that just shows your art is so good. You know, seeing someone.
Are you saying my art is like Vegemite?
No. His was.
No, and actually, that's a compliment. But I was just giving you a hard time.
Thank you. But so are you going to do live concerts and things like that? Obviously you are with the band, but solo?
Yeah. So I'm really excited. Next weekend, getting ready to play the new project with my new live band. With my new live band. So I have a new drummer. His name is Alex Klossner. He's awesome. And also Jim Kugas from Scintilla. He's going to be playing bass. So we're just a 3-piece at this point. And yeah, next weekend we're playing some shows like around the Midwest, kind of like where I live. So we're playing Madison and Chicago and playing a few shows. So yeah, first shows ever. I'm getting really excited, but I really would like to do a more extensive tour. And would love to come to Malta and hit Europe too. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to make some sort of a tour happen. So we'll see how things go.
Be fantastic. So is it going to be something that brings on the nerves because it's the first time doing your solo stuff? Although you've obviously got the backing of the band.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to feel once I hit the stage. I don't really get stage fright anymore with Scintilla. But when I first started out, I was like, I'm a pretty shy person, and so that was something I had to overcome. Like, getting on stage. But now it's just like old hat. Like I love it. I get more excited than I do like nervous. So I'm not sure how I'm going to feel. I don't think I'm going to be too nervous. I just might get the butterflies a little bit, and but that might kind of help the performance. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it must be quite an adrenaline rush as well, mustn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the more the crowd get into it, the more you enjoy it, I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For sure, yeah. Because if you're connecting with the crowd, it really just makes your heart full, and it enhances the performance so much more. So, for sure.
Have you ever performed outside of America?
Yeah. So we performed in Europe. We played WGT. All
right.
The We've Got a Sharpen Festival. In Canada, we played Terminus Fest in Calgary. But yeah, I really would like to get more outside of the States, play some shows outside of Europe, and maybe hit Australia. Finally, try some Vegemite, New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there's a big audience out there, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, being in Malta, I hadn't honestly heard of you before, but was pleasantly surprised, and that obviously led me to look at your band as well. And yeah, I was really impressed. I mean, it's just, but the two projects you've got, the band and yourself solo, very, very different, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Very different. I mean,
yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, and I guess just the writing process was different, very different from the two. So with Scintilla, I write the vocals and the harmonies and the melodies and everything. And Jim Kugas, he writes he programs the music, writes the music, and it's more, guitar driven. So it is definitely a different process. So you can kind of see that in the songwriting for sure.
Yeah, it's two completely different styles, and it's good though, because fans are getting two sides of your vocals. They're not getting, oh, Brittany's gone solo or got a solo project, but it just sounds like the band. Well, it doesn't.
Right.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
It's very different. I mean, it's a refreshing thing to hear that someone has gone solo and is doing something that sounds so different to what they're doing with the band. And that's really good, because that just gives fans so much more. I mean, fans of obviously yourself will then be led to the band, and the fans of the band will be led to you. And I think that's great. That really is good.
Yeah.
And
and
leads to an exciting future.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. It's just been so much fun. Like, I had such a blast working on this album too. Like, it was, yeah, like we were saying, it was such a different process. It was like more insular and more inward looking, which was really kind of a cool thing to do, because, I love collaborating with people. I really do love that. But there was something really cool about just like, writing a record like all on your own. But also it was like, I do have to say, working with Matt McJunkins was really great too, just to kind of like, because, you're just like, you're in a hermit and you're holed up in your studio for so long. So it's so nice to get like a different perspective on everything. And yeah, he was phenomenal. And we had like a lot of fun running synths through like a bunch of like guitar pedals. And it was like such a blast. So it was great working with him too.
That's really good. So do you think you'll be doing more singles, more albums coming up?
Yeah. I already have some more songs written. So I guess, I think we'll see kind of how the year pans out. If, how live shows go, if there's any tours or anything. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just going to go right back into the studio again and keep going. So I feel kind of mossy. So I feel like I have some more songs to write. So yeah, so probably another album coming soon. Just not exactly sure when yet.
Yeah, but while the creativity's there, you've got to keep it going, haven't you, really?
Yeah. Strike while the iron's hot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Has this gone down well, this album, do you know?
Yeah. You know what? I really didn't know what to expect. Like, I was like, is it just going to be like my friends listening to this album? So I was like, I was really pleasantly surprised that some people do like it. I put it out through Metropolis Records, and they've been great. So yeah, they've been awesome.
That's
the distribution and everything. Yeah. Yes, it's been fun.
You do need that, don't you, at times?
Oh yeah. Nowadays, for sure, right?
But you're saying about working on this by yourself and being like a hermit. I recently spoke to another female artist who recorded everything in her home, and she actually sat in a cupboard to write them. So she'd be completely.
Oh, really?
Weird. Yeah, I'd never before. Now that was
sensory deprivation thing, or yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before, but it worked because obviously it's good. But it's just that's a really obscure way of doing it.
Yeah, it is
crazy.
Yeah, no kidding. It almost kind of reminds me of like, have you ever done those like sensory deprivation tanks, like the float tanks?
No, I've heard of them.
Like it's pretty cool. I did that a couple times, and it's kind of wild. Like you basically float on like this saline solution. It's like really heavily concentrated, and so you kind of float in there, and it just feels like you're floating in space. Sorry, sorry. My computer is
All right.
There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so the sensory deprivation tanks. So it's really neat because basically it's you're just floating in space and there's no outside stimuli, so it's just all in your brain. And so after a while, you're just kind of floating there, and like you'll just start seeing lights or starting like to hallucinate, and it's really cool. And you can get like some really cool dreams or hallucinations and stuff. It's kind of like psychedelics for without drugs, kind of. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I would highly recommend it. But it reminded me of the singer that went into the cupboard and just closed herself in there. Yeah.
So does those times you spend in there, could that enhance your creativity in a way?
Yeah, it's kind of like any psychedelic trip, I think, could too. Maybe opens your mind up a little bit more. I remember I'm also an artist, so I remember I had like some really cool like visuals from that, and I was like, oh, I got an idea for a drawing or a painting just from that too. So yeah, absolutely, kind of just maybe opens your mind up a little bit more to like different experience or different visions and stuff. It's cool.
So you're an artist as well?
Yeah, that's my day job, basically. Yeah.
Well, what, painting as in proper?
Yeah, I do. I do graphic design and web design, but I also do like murals, painting, like pen and ink drawings and things. Yeah.
Wow. Very talented.
Oh, thanks. Well, you haven't seen my artwork yet, so.
Yeah. You never know, do you?
You're gonna look at it, you're like, oh, wow, yeah, great work.
I fell for that one. But no, it's, you've got to be commended on your album. It is really, really good. And I actually did tell one of my friends in the UK who's into punk music, and I said, try this, just try it.
Yeah.
And he came back to me and went, is it weird? I kind of like that.
Awesome. That's a great compliment. Weird is a good compliment.
He's not into that kind of music at all. And this was something, I've thrown so much music at him to listen to, and he's, yeah, like that one. Not so keen on that one. But when I threw yours at him, yeah, wow, whoa, I like that one. It's just
that's great.
It got him because you're in between, I think, somewhere between kind of dark music, but also pop music, but it's somewhere in between. You haven't crossed either line. You've somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. And I got that remark from a few people, like, it's a little too dark for me, or it's a little too pop, and that, that's just kind of what it is.
Yeah, because you're almost on a tightrope. You're either side, and you're walking side, but you're not going all the way. But I think that's a good place to be.
Well, thanks. Yeah, and you know what? That's who I am. So I'm not gonna like push it one way or the other. So it's like, especially for this, I'm like, this is my solo album. I can do what I want.
Well, exactly. So it's your work, isn't it? So it's your creativity. So it's what you want, and that's how it should be, I think.
Yeah,
someone's
absolutely.
Forcing you one way or another, I think you start to not love the music that you're creating, and I think that will show. Whereas you can see you're having fun with that, you're enjoying it. Even in your music videos, you're enjoying what you're doing.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And I think that shows to the fans that I love my music, I want you to love it. Whereas you do see bands where you can see they're being forced into one way or another, and it's like they're not having fun.
Right. Or sometimes, maybe people feel a little bit pigeonholed into a certain sound, and they don't want to, betray their fans. Like, they kind of want to keep things, some sort of like line between, albums and things, which totally makes sense. But yeah, there's that's also like a tightrope to walk too, because you don't want to alienate your fans, like as a legacy band or something like that, and do something completely different, and then the fans hate it. But at the same time, if you're overthinking things too much, that can kind of, hamper the songwriting process and everything. So yeah, it's a tough line to walk for a lot of bands, especially bands that have been around for a while.
Yeah, definitely. So when you, for this album, obviously you've gone one way. Is a newer album going to be similar kind of place, or will that move either way a little bit more?
You'll have to find out. I'm not even sure yet, honestly. They're like little baby songs. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see.
But
I'll just say that yes, I have a master plan, and yeah, you'll find out. That's what I should say.
Well, Brittany, is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Have I missed anything?
I guess I just want to say, thank you for having me on the show, and thanks. I want to thanks for people that thanks for listening to this album, because I wasn't sure what to expect, and with Scintilla fans, how things would translate. So I just want to say thanks everybody for the support, because it's been a blast, and I'm gonna keep writing songs. So
that's what we want.
Hope you enjoy them. Yeah,
that's what we want to hear. It really is a good album. So well done, Brittany.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I'd like to say thank you for your time as well. Been an absolute pleasure meeting you. Been some laughs
you too
there as well.
Yeah,
a few times. So
yeah.
But anyway, Brittany, it's been a real pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.